by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's going to be a great Wednesday here on the show, folks. But fellas, I want to start by saying hello, my friends. We meet again. It's been a while. Where should we begin? It's the only Creed reference I'm going to make for the rest of the show. So
I don't believe it. I do not believe that's going to be the only one, John. But it sounds like you enjoyed yourself.
It was good. It was good. Felt like, you know, in the late 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s, man. And the preachiness of Scott Stapp, you know, letting everybody know it's about the spirituality, man. And, you know, really preaching to us. So it was good. It was a good concert. I was honestly worried about my voice was not going to be ready to go today. But luckily, the final couple songs didn't do me in from singing out loud for that. But it was good. It's a good concert and seeing Daughtry and all of that, but that's enough. No one cares about that, and we don't need to talk about it. It's moving on.
Oh, people care. It looked like people had a great time, man. I saw every picture I saw on Twitter was like, man, it looks awesome. And I saw some people wearing the Stapp jersey that he wore for the Thanksgiving halftime show.
I know, and I saw that, and I was so pissed I didn't think of that first. I'm like, that is a phenomenal idea. In fact, Jordan Wright, I believe, from Wright's Barbecue was one of them wearing the Scott Stapp 11 jersey. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But either way, we got a lot more greater things to talk about here today here on the show, because we will get to some of the things, of course, that some of the players talked about last night in their press conference, a little SEC teleconference news, some injury updates, and everything. Of course, get to your chats. So look a little bit at the SEC and get into what's more likely here on the show as well. But fellas, yesterday we got to hear from a few of the players, and of course, two of the, not saying that none of the players are interesting, but two of the more interesting players to hear from was Andrew Armstrong, the wide receiver, as well as Jaquindon Jackson. Both of these players, of course, are pivotal parts and had really nice games, maybe made some mistakes here and there, but had some nice games against Oklahoma State. But they brought up something. We'll play the clip, and we'll kind of go into this because I think it's a bigger picture than just what it's talking about with players and coaches. But when they were asked about, and our Andrew Armstrong answers this question about what went wrong or how things go or whatever, here's what he had to say with the Oklahoma State game itself.
You know, just making sure that we know what we're doing at that point of time. You know, like I said, you know, fatigue can kick in at that time. People not thinking as much, you know, and I know a lot of people want to say it's on like coaches and things like that, but like I feel like it's on us as players as well, you know, to make sure we're in the right spots. You know, we practice it, we go through what we got to go through, and I feel like us as players need to take more accountability as well when we go out there on the field and have things like that happen.
Yeah, Jaquindon, you were kind of in and out during that series. You have any thoughts on that?
Basically what he said. Fatigue kick in. We just got to know what we're doing.
So pretty basic, but what y'all make of Andrew Armstrong kind of saying, I guess, taking responsibility, saying, hey, you know, coaches get blamed a lot, but it's on us as players to actually go out there and execute the game plan itself.
It's good to hear him say that. It's always like a delicate balance when, like for guys like us, when we talk about these games, and especially with a situation where a coach is, you know, on the hot seat or whatever, so it's easy to put a lot on him. But we really have to toe the line, because anytime you say anything about a player's play, you get accused of trashing players or whatever. And it's not that. I mean, that is in theory their job or whatever, is to go out there and be in the right spots and do the right things and play a good game or whatever. And if they don't, like, that's just something that you have to analyze. And so it's kind of refreshing, I think, to hear a player say, yeah, like, we need to take accountability for ourselves out there. You know, it's like when, you know, Satania muffs a punt because one of his own teammates runs into him, or you miss a couple field goals. It's like, fire Scott Fountain. Well, no, he's not in control of that. And that is something that the players have to take accountability for and get better for. Coaches can put you in positions to succeed, but you still have to take advantage of the positions they put you in. So I was happy to hear that. I think that's a good early sign of how you're going to respond to adversity as a team. Now they actually have to do that and then go make the improvements. But I think acknowledging it is probably the first step in that battle.
I think it's also nice that if there's one player on Arkansas's roster who truly should not be taking any accountability, it would be Andrew Armstrong. Because I mean, I don't know if the dude made a mistake, period. Like, I mean, maybe he might have gone one step off of his route or his stem at one point or something like that. But I mean, that's one guy that you can't really point the finger and blame at. So for him to say, hey, we have to take that accountability. We have to take that responsibility. I thought that's good. I think it would have been funny if he would have been like, yeah, we can't have guys dropping pitches, just kind of looking over at Jaquindon Jackson. But no, I agree, Curtis. I think it is a good early sign. And I also just think about the UAB game a lot. It's actually lines up well where if Arkansas had won, this would be an obvious trap game. But I think the fact that they lost and they get to kind of test the whole, all right, new page, everything's fine. Like we're not gonna let this define us. We're gonna move forward. You get an easy little layup to kind of establish that. To whereas if you were going right into a battle against, at Auburn or LSU or Tennessee or whatever, it might be a little bit harder for these guys to mentally be like, hey, we can't let this affect us, because you'd already be doing the math. I think having the UAB game this week helps Arkansas to really reset as a team, and hopefully, we'll see how it works out. But it sounds like they're, at least from a coach speak standpoint, doing the right things.
Because that is something I wish I could go back and see the DM I got, but it was from one of our listeners, and they wanted us to address it earlier this week. But it was anytime there's a loss, because when you win a game, the credit kind of goes to everybody. No one's just being like, oh, this is terrible, but this one over here, or this coach, they're the ones. But it's when a loss happens is when people are trying to say, all right, well, who's to blame for this? Who do we got to point the finger to? Who do we get for this? And, buck stops with head coaches. We all know that. But that's at least why I didn't feel like after Saturday, even though I was fired up and pissed off, I wasn't like going after Sam Pittman being like, this is all on him. Because again, like Andrew Armstrong saying that, and I echo y'all's sentiments about him having, a lot of credibility and respect for that. Like, you have to go out there and not do the dumb things. Like, you're not like, I'm sorry, but the Travis Williams did not coach Javion Sori back. Hey, when you get a guy wrapped up, just do a suplex on him. Like, that's not what he was coached to do. Like so there's a difference in that. And that's where it's just so funny how people will kind of pick and choose. A lot of it's like agenda based, where if they hate Sam Pittman, they're going to make sure that, hey, if there's a loss, it's on Sam Pittman. Or if they, hate Bobby Petrino or whatever, they're going to try to find it anyways. But still, players sometimes get off the hook a little bit, maybe too much, because of the reason you said, Curtis, where it's like, you're afraid to bash it, because you're going to be accused of like, you're bashing a teenager. He's a 19-year-old kid. And thus, it's like, well, I mean, that's what they're there to do, though. That's what they're there to do. They're there to play football. They're there to, be on a major college football program in the SEC. You have to follow through. You have to get it done. And that's what can maybe provide some hope, is because it is fixable and it is something that players can get better at. But at the same time, I think, and correct if I'm wrong on this, Curtis, because you would know, something that Muss said, he's like, but these guys have to learn how to win. And I think Muss was one of those that's always said, he's like, they have to learn how to win. And I don't know if there's a magic recipe for that, but that's what they have to do. They just have to learn how to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely a situation that Arkansas is in, especially when there's a little bit of adversity, like where you have to win instead of just winning before you even take the field, like against UAPB. There's something to be said about the mindset and the mental toughness and, just kind of executing down the stretch that gets you across the finish line. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely something to be said to that. Accountability across the board is a good starting point. I know we talked about some of Trent Dilfer's comments yesterday about, Petrino and Taylon Green. Another thing that he said in that press conference that I liked, because they were actually favored to win that game against Louisiana Monroe after having a pretty good opener. And they just did not play well at all. And he was kind of asked about, like, where does the blame lie with this and with that? And he was like, it's everywhere. He was like, yeah, the quarterback stunk. I stunk. The offensive line stunk. The receivers stunk. And he just went across the board. And he was like, and the good thing is, like, I don't have to tell everybody that because they know. And that's a good sign. So, it's a lot of, I get it, to anyone who's listening right now. It's like, whatever, talk is cheap, but that's all you can do during the week before you go out there and play. So at least they're saying the right things.
And it also just makes me wonder, like, what the message is that Pittman is relaying to these guys of kind of the, hey, because like Pittman, we weren't in the locker room. I don't know what he said. We know what he said to the media, but did he say, hey, guys, you really screwed the pooch and you're making me look like an idiot? Or did he take that accountability with the team? But either way, like, I think the messaging this week is very important. And we'll find out. I mean, we're not going to really truly find out if the message hit home this weekend. It'll really be later down the road. But Curtis, if you can forgive me for a second, I'm going to have to go back to history for a second, because I do feel like history is relevant here. In 2014, how many one-score games did Arkansas lose? I don't know what the number is, but it seemed like anytime they were in a tight game, they would always find a way to lose it. They end up getting over the hump and beating LSU by 17, beating Ole Miss by 30, but then they lose a close game against Missouri to finish that year and then win a bowl game, obviously. But in 2015, you saw the effects of that, where early in the year, they still didn't know how to win close games. Brandon Allen still got a little tight in those big moments. And then they finally got over that hump in like late October and beat Auburn in double overtime. And that kind of launched that 2015 team into finishing the year really strong and really gave them that confidence because they finally got over the hump and won a one-score game where they had to make plays down the stretch. I just wonder when that moment is going to come for this Arkansas team and what the effects might be. Because say you go out there and you beat Auburn 31-27 or something like that, and you do have that turnaround where you make the plays and you, again, find a way to win and you learn how to win, what the ceiling for this team would actually be. And so if I'm trying to find an optimistic way forward of like, this team can still do a lot of really good things, I think the power of learning how to win is very real. And so this team, hopefully this weekend, they don't have to test that ability to win one-score games. But I do think there's a case to be made that once this team figures out how to win in these close games, which is no small feat, it could unlock something really fun and really special, but they got to go out there and do it. And last week, obviously, they had a big chance to do just that and came up extremely painfully short.
Yeah, and it's like I always feel like it's a floodgate that opens up if you finally get over that hump and you figure it out. Like that could, in theory, happen. But unfortunately for the Razorback fans, no matter what, they're going to be stressed the entire game. Like if it ends up being against Texas A&M or Auburn, we'll say Auburn because that'll be the next kind of big game for Arkansas. If Arkansas has a 14-point lead midway through the fourth quarter, Razorback fans aren't feeling good. They're not feeling good. And it makes me wonder, if they're not feeling good, how do you keep the team from not feeling good? Like, because then they're like, man, we just really need not to screw this up, man. And you start overthinking things and you start letting things get to you. And then if, you give up one big play or have one bad big play, suddenly they start feeling like, oh crap, here we go. This is it again.
There's probably something to be said for that. Like I imagine last year there came a point in time where Arkansas was in those situations and all of the history and everything that happened previously was in the back of their mind. Like, and we've really been good at blowing this lately. It was like the basketball team during the Anthony Black year. Like how many times did they get double-digit leads in games and then freaking blow it? And it was crazy how often it happened. And it was almost like it was meant to be. It was like fate or something. And you thought maybe, and listen, the coaches and the players and everybody talked about this during camp. It's like, oh, this is an entirely new team. We've got 54 new players. Last year was last year, but this is a different group. And it's easy to believe that. I'm sure they do and did. But now you've gone out there and you've lost one of these games in painfully similar fashion. And so like the chirping about, oh, they just can't get over the hump. They can't win these one possession games. It does. It's natural for it to get a little bit louder in your mind. And so you don't want it to become something that impacts them when it comes to their mental toughness in games. Maybe not after one game, but the way that went down, like I don't think it's crazy to assume that there are some guys on that roster who are like, damn, maybe this is a thing.
Well, and what's unfortunate about it, I want to touch on this comment here from Heartbroken Hog, says, I hope the moment doesn't come after it's already too late, though. And that's what sucks about this is in basketball, you kind of have that wiggle room to, hey, if it's in December and you're losing close games or you're blowing big leads to Vanderbilt and Nashville, you can still kind of overcome it. Like that path forward is always in front of you. In football, it's really not that way, where if Arkansas loses one more one-score game, whether it's against Auburn, A&M, LSU, whatever, they're really not going to be able to recover from it as easily as you would in some of these other sports. And so it just kind of adds to that pressure to, in those moments, you kind of are already doing the math of like, man, if we lose this one, then what happens? Then Pittman, you start it's the mental gymnastics are even harder to battle in these football games where all the pressure is such a small sample size, 12 games. And so the margin for error is really thin. And so I wonder if that will help this Arkansas team bond together, or if it's just going to make it even harder for them to climb that uphill battle in the fourth quarter of some of these games.
Yeah. And again, I think we all agree it's going to happen, and they're going to be in a close game in the fourth quarter, whether it's against Auburn or against A&M or something like that. Like they're going to have their opportunities, but like you guys said, like your opportunity is going to have to be in, I feel like it has to be Auburn or A&M. Like those are the games where it's like, you're still early enough in the season to where you can overcome that. But if you go through those games and you still have the same issues, I don't think it's going to happen against Tennessee. Like the Tennessee's too good. I don't think it's going to happen against Texas. I don't think it's going to happen against Ole Miss. because as good as you may be or may think you be, by that point in time, if you're still losing games in the same fashion, that's when things are going to start letting go of the rope, because you're like we have 4 losses already and we've been trying everything and we just need to end this season. Like, you're going to lose a lot of it and a lot of the momentum from it too. So yeah, it's frustrating for Razorback fans, but 10 games, you still got 10 games. You got a lot of time to make up for it too. I did really enjoy this clip from Jaquan Jackson and Andrew Armstrong, because, they got UAB this weekend and big game, a lot of things they got to break down. And they were asked to just kind of, what do they think about the Blazers of UAB?
Flipping it to this week with UAB on defense, I was wondering what you guys saw out of them. Any of those players jump out to you, or tendencies, things that they like to do?
Was it ready to go play?
Yeah, we really just like this week. We really just trying to focus on things we need to fix.
Yeah, we focus on them, focus on ourselves too, because like I said, your worst enemy is yourself. So if you do it, you can go out there and play the best game. You can put up 800 yards of offense, have 4 turnovers. They put up 200 yards and you lose the game, because so I feel like we just gotta go out there and focus.
I mean, there's a long pause there, my friends.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not crazy about that. As much as I like the first answer, I'm not crazy about that. It came across, and I get it. Like, we got to focus on ourselves for all the things he said. Like, hey, we got to clean our own stuff up. But it gave off very much like, we ain't worry about UAB, man. This is us kind of vibes. That's not probably really the message you want to send after a loss like you just took. 1, 2, can we get those guys a webcam or just? I mean,
there's so much space on the top too. It really drives me nuts when I watch that.
I mean, what are we doing? Anyway, carry on.
I agree, Curtis. I don't love that. Here's what's tough is I think that was genuine. I think that's if we had seen them at CJ's Burgers and we saw them and asked them, that would be the reaction you'd expect, where it's don't really see anything out of UAB, but you're at a press conference. I know it's on Zoom and you don't have a webcam, but still you got to BS an answer there on the spot.
Well,
just be like, yeah, they're linebackers, they're aggressive, and yeah, we'll see. We got a challenge in front of us. I mean, Sam Pittman's really good about that, where he really is oh, that Kent State team, man, that's a damn good team. He's really good at BS in the answer. You got to come up with something and be like, yeah, real challenge in front of us.
Yeah, you have to. It's like when Sam Pittman's walking to, the press conferences after a game, he's with somebody from the communications department, and they're probably giving him a few talking points on the way there. Like, hey, you're probably going to get asked about this and this. It's the same thing with those players when they're walking over there with the GA or whoever, where it's like, this is a UAB preview. So they're probably going to ask you about, hey guys, their defense or whatever. So just say that they're fast and athletic, and they've got some good players, and they brought a few transfers in, and last week wasn't probably a reflection of what they're going to be, so we got to take them seriously. How hard was that? I have no idea who's on their damn team, but how hard was that?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm with you.
Here's the thing is, I don't like it unless they just absolutely destroy UAB, because if they don't do well against UAB, then it's going to be like, okay, that's going to get pointed to as, that was stupid. What are you doing here? I get, because I agree with you guys as far as I see the perception of it, but at the same time, it's only if you look like crap, because then if you got in UAB and you beat them 70-0 like you did UAPB, then they're like, oh man, yeah, they were so focused in on themselves, they were ready to roll through a wall, they didn't even care about UAB. But then if you struggle against them, it's like they should have been taking care of business and watching film and studying up on them too. So. But also, it is Tuesday. It was a Tuesday press conference. So, maybe they haven't really dove into it yet. I don't know. But It was just funny to see, literally they're perfect, look at each other and then kind of come back and all right, we got to make something up here, man. We don't know anything about them.
Right. Just give a, like Curtis said, just give a, little bit of a fake answer there. I'm not actually too offended by it. But it's when you have a team, like you said, coming off a loss, and a team that's lost in these situations time and time again, just not what you want to see. To be clear, though, it's not going to matter. UAB is really bad, and so their reaction is almost justified. But it is a little bit of a miniature red flag that we're ignoring here.
Well, if if those two guys or those guys in general, if they have any issues or whatever, then again, they'll be looked back upon for that. But still, just to,
and I'm seeing everybody in the chat right now saying, "Oh, whatever, who cares? It doesn't matter. They should be focused on the." Hey, just keep that same energy. If they come out there flat and you guys are pissed off at halftime because it's a 1-score game or whatever, that's all.
Well, and also it's a little bit unfair, but this is the situation. It's okay for us, observers, fans alike, to overlook UAB. It's not really cool for them to publicly overlook UAB. We at least agree on that?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it was literally a UAB preview presser. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, if we were at CJ's and you asked them and it's like, whatever, that's one thing. But like you were there for that reason. So, come on.
Sometimes you don't have to tell the truth in the press conference. Sometimes you can lie in the press conference. I need Arkansas football to understand that. You can lie in a press conference. It's okay.
Yeah, but there's too much honesty sometimes within this program. As weird as it is to say that, but there's too much dadgum honesty.
I didn't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, lie to me, make me feel better. I'd rather have that.
Did UAB really have a top 20 offense last year, or is that crazy?
I feel like that can't be true.
I was listening to Alex Mortensen,
didn't they?
Yeah, I was listening to Alex Mortensen yesterday, and he said that. I thought, anyway, whatever.
Top 20 offense in their conference, maybe.
Also, Alex Mortensen did a press conference.
No,
he
did an interview with Matt Jones.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, wow, they got OC press conferences, UAB, and
no.
high level stuff.
No, that would have been something. I definitely would have tuned in for that. But the SEC teleconference was today, really mind blowing stuff. But Curtis, I know you wrote an article on InsideArkansas.com.
Andrew wrote it.
Andrew. Andrew wrote it. Curtis was bringing it up to me before the show of the injury reports and whatnot. But it looks like, guys, that the secondary is a little bit banged up, needless to say.
Well, so what's weird is Marquise Robinson is the one that we all kind of wondered about. It seems like he's fine. Like his stinger is no longer stinging. And it seems like he's been able to practice and they expect him to be back. Jalen Braxton, who after the game, Pittman was like, oh, just some tendonitis, it's fine. He played a good bit in the game, but I noticed he was kind of in and out. It didn't seem like a big deal after the game. And even Monday, I didn't get the vibe of like, oh yeah, Braxton, he's in trouble. But then all of a sudden he hasn't practiced this week is what he's saying. And
then it's a bone bruise and they got to look at it more like.
Yeah, it's changed from tendonitis to a bone bruise, which I don't know medically if those are similar things. But he said they'll have to look at it a little bit more after practice today. So it doesn't sound like Jalen Braxton has practiced this week. So I don't know if I can count on him playing. So Arkansas gets one cornerback. They lose the other cornerback. Get it? And Hudson Clark, who played 8 snaps the other day and had the back issue where he was like, oh, yeah, he'll be fine. He ain't fine. It doesn't seem like he's going to play this week. He said very, very doubtful. So again, against UAB, it probably doesn't matter, but yeah, Arkansas is going to be missing 2 of their top defensive backs in this game, which for a group that is kind of like one of the bigger question marks now, and we praise them for their depth in the offseason, they're going to have to show it. We'll see if anybody steps up.
If Hudson Clark's not playing, what is the line? I don't know what came out. It just
24.5 last I checked.
Take UAB. If no fly zone ain't in.
Touchdown off of that. Yeah, if Hudson Clark's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one touchdown that will happen. Yeah.
It's funny. Like just a side story on this. Like the amount of people that I've actually had up, they come just say, hey, we love what you guys are doing inside Arkansas. I watch every day. I'm like, hey, it's great. And then there's so many people that be like, let me tell you why Hudson Clark sucks. Like that's the only thing they want to tell me. They're like, you keep defending him, and let me tell you how he sucks. And then they lay it out there, and they don't actually give any like facts. They just more of like, well, because of this one play that one time, and it was a big play. It's like, okay, well, I mean, does that mean I could probably point to a play that every player on the team is messed up? And that's besides the point. But anyways, I just leaned into the whole aura of like, yeah, I'm the Hudson Clark defender. And
little do they know, they're talking bad about the second highest graded Razorback defender, according to Pro Football Focus, which are never wrong.
That's right. Pro Football Focus never lies. They never lied once.
And they definitely don't change their ratings throughout the week. I've noticed that.
Yeah. I still sometimes I'll look at their Pro Football Focus. And it's really interesting, but a lot of times it's above my pay grade where I'm like, I don't know how you got this, but I'm assuming it's right. Like Anton Junkaj is the highest rated defensive lineman in the SEC coming in the season. Sure. All right. I mean, that works. That works too. So, but for whatever reason, man, people are checking out. But again, these players shouldn't shouldn't matter in this game as far as winning or losing. They shouldn't. You should still take care of business and have.
It would take more than that for this to be. Like, it would take you know what, Jaquindon got cramps in pregame, he can't play, and Taylor Green suspended for violation of team rules, and then I still don't think it would matter. But
no, again, shouldn't, but can't take anything for granted there. We'll get to some of your chats, folks, here on Inside Arkansas Live. So if you want to get in on the conversation, just jump in the chat, and we'll get after it. And want to remind everybody that we're brought to you by, of course, Alumni Hall, our friends over there, the ultimate Razorback shopping destination right there in Fayetteville. You can shop them online at alumnihall.com. Some of you are coming in for the UAB game this week. It's going to be a hot one, or at least a warmer one. And you may not have the right apparel to counteract that heat. Well, they got you taken care of over there at Alumni Hall. If you go in there, they got polo shirts, they got jerseys, they got shirts, T-shirts, they got hats, which probably would come in handy too, since it's a 3:15 game. Probably need to cover that head of yours. I did not wear a hat last week, and I regret it. So don't be like me. Get you a hat and make sure it's a Razorback one with Alumni Hall. You can also shop them online at alumnihall.com for all of your Razorback shopping needs. So check it out today. Again, it's alumnihall.com. It's your ultimate Razorback shopping destination.
It just always brings me back to Andrew, to our time with Trey, where there would be a game and we would wake up to a morning text from Trey and he'd be like, "Gentlemen, remember to bring a ball cap and sunscreen, even in the press box. The sun will get," like, he was. Well, and you know what? Had he not done that, I would have got burned. So
if it was a cold game, he'd be like, "Hey guys, you can throw on an extra layer. You can even wear, even if it's sweatpants.
Don't worry about looking nice.
To wear a hoodie if it were like 28 degrees or whatever." But yeah, it's funny. Like, that's the one thing he cared about, was how you were prepared for weather.
Yeah,
because it's like, if you're not ready for the weather, you're not ready for anything. That's right. It's going to change everything. So
the weather's going to be there regardless of whether you're prepared or not. So you better they're going to come prepared. So you better come prepared.
Well, and it's funny too, because it's going to be hotter this Saturday in Fayetteville than it was last Saturday in Stillwater. So 3:15 kickoff is still stupid to me. I really can't get over that.
And we don't need any funny business in this game, by the way, because there are important things happening later in the evening. So they got to.
Truly. I would have liked the 2:30 instead of the 3:15. Give us a little bit more wiggle room for fights that night. We're gonna miss the Chihuihuis kid, Raul Rosas. He's the first fight of the night. We'll probably miss him.
Dang, really? I didn't. We'll talk about this off air.
Let's say y'all are using words I don't understand. So
you didn't understand Chihuihuis, bro? You didn't understand that?
Did not get that one on Urban Dictionary. No, I'm afraid to even look it up and see what it means. Let's see. All right. So some of the chats, you got Cody here. He's saying absolutely loved Armstrong and JJ's presser last night, hearing Andrew Armstrong talk about how the vibes are way better this year and the locker room is actually vibing. And to hear both of them take accountability. It's like, yeah, well, vibing and locker room vibing is great, but it doesn't. Okay, win. It's my thing. It's like, vibes have always been good. We'll always hear about the locker room being closer than ever than win. Like that's all I care about. But I'm glad the vibes are high.
Maybe.
I like Finch is over here saying, I blame Curtis and Andrew. Y'all can't be all willy-nilly when it comes to shaving the beards like that. Y'all shave your beards?
Well, when I shaved mine, Arkansas won 70-0. So I don't know what you mean. Like, I brought good vibes. Maybe I should have shaved again. Just continue the naked mole rat.
People are going to continue to try to peer pressure you into some reason into cutting your hair. I just don't succumb to that if you don't want to.
Dude, someone messaged me on Instagram and they were just like, "You better cut your hair." There was like no follow up. It wasn't even like, it's
a little eerie.
Because I think Arkansas is going to. It was just like, "Cut your hair." And I was like, "Is this a threat? What the hell are we doing here?"
Yeah, you cut your hair, I'll cut it for you, type of thing. Yeah,
it's like, geez, man.
Yeah, relax, people. Yeah, I'm like, our DMs are usually pretty clean, right? We don't get any weird stuff.
For the most part, the YouTube comments are wild. Like later in days, but yeah, the DMs are pretty easy.
Dude, by the way, every comment, I just want to touch on this because it's been on my mind. Every comment that happens on our YouTube after the show is done airing is people that don't watch the show. I've figured that out. They're just always commenting on the title, or like, it's always that James dude who I can confidently say is not watching because he only complains about the comments or whatever. But it's always people that are like just complaining about the most random. They're the toxic ones in the chat. Like today, like live, it's never really that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I told James that we've updated our mission statement to say that we're striving to go one day without giving him something to complain about, and that we're like the Hogs. We're not quite there yet, but we love our team. So we're gonna continue.
We thought we were gonna accomplish our goal.
Yeah, every season we're going to go into it, be like, I really love our guys. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of our guys.
Listen, we've got the concept of a plan. Just give us time.
Concept of a plan. God, I knew you were going to work it in somewhere. Perfect.
Had to.
There it is. Shout out to Josh Miller with a sponsored comment.
Thank you,
Josh. We appreciate it. Says, what is the tipping point to where Pittman's job starts to get questions swept by Auburn and A&M?
Yes.
Like that would be it for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I do love the idea that his job is not being questioned right now.
Yeah,
it hasn't been being questioned for a while.
I guess from like a legitimate, like this might be actually about to happen kind of deal. Then yeah, if that happens, I mean, let's assume they beat UAB, and then so would that have them 2-3 going into that Tennessee game, and then you've got the nasty loss to Oklahoma State. I'm sure these wouldn't be, good losses. So yeah, that would be
now if my memory serves me correctly, it's Auburn, A&M, Tennessee bye week, right?
Right.
Yeah, you gotta go into that bye week with an SEC win. You just have to.
Yeah, you 3-3. Yeah, you got to be 500 worst case going into that.
Yeah, if you're 2-4 at the bye week, it's too obvious of a spot to do something.
It's scary.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah,
I don't want to think about it either. And they're gonna have an SEC win. They're gonna beat one of these teams.
Yeah.
They really, I really believe that too. They should, and I believe that.
Not Tennessee, but they will beat one of these teams.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's like, if you get swept by Auburn and A&M, it's over. I'll call it. It's over. It is over. I'm not saying it's over like right then and there and he's fired immediately, but it's over. By the way, somebody asked me, he's like, hey, how come you read those comments first? It's because it's like, hey, it has nothing to do with the money that people like donate in the sponsor comment. It's because of the color. That's what catches my eyes. Yeah. The green and the orange. Yeah. It's like if it's color, it sticks out. So we got to click that one first. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the donations of money, obviously.
But if you do donate money, we will bring it up.
Yeah. We'll do it for you. We'll make it happen. And shout out to Eureka Strings. He says, hey, fellas, just want to say thanks for these streams. Going through some health issues, and it really gives me something to look forward to. Thanks a ton. Well, thank you, Eureka Strings. And sorry you're going through that. Hopefully you come out all right on it. But we appreciate you checking it out.
Yeah, you've been one of the OGs going back to the old regime. So we appreciate you and hope everything's well, man.
Yeah, sending good vibes your way, man. Appreciate you for all you bring to the chat, and I mean that unironically. Like it sounds crazy because like we complain about some of these chatters, but I feel like Eureka's a constant bright spot.
That's right. Sure. That's right. We appreciate it. Petrino Durrell, attorney at law. My goodness, great name. It says, did y'all know Hudson Clark had 3 interceptions against Ole Miss? Yes.
Never forget.
No. Like
it's not a good day to use that.
Yeah,
but
that's probably the wrong day to use that, which we'll bring up. But it's true. I can't forget that one. Scott wants to know, why wouldn't they play the other running backs more and keep Jackson rested for the fourth quarter?
It's a great question.
Dominion's hurt and they don't trust the other ones.
Yeah. That's the answer. But we're with you though, Scott. Like we kind of thought it was interesting that you just had the 2-man rotation and that the guy who was hobbling after every play was getting 25 touches.
Yeah.
It definitely would have changed the game, but hindsight's 2020, I guess.
Yeah. I think even Jaquindon Jackson was bringing it up where he was asked about his cramps and how he's doing and all that. He's like, man, I played 6 quarters. He's like, it's going to happen. He's like, but then he goes,
I mean, it's happened in the first, but yeah.
Yeah. But then he goes, I promise it won't happen again.
Like, okay.
All right.
He's got his pickles and his juice. He's ready to roll. He's not catching those cramps.
His orange slices and liquid IV. He's ready to roll. So
he should go to Hydrate NWA and go see our boy.
That's right. See our boy Jackson Lowry. Get that. Yeah. Just have Jackson Lowry staying on the sidelines with an IV ready to poke it. He doesn't. Do that.
Red J just commented here. Like, do y'all believe that he said it will never happen again? I don't think any human being with a straight face can be like, I'm never going to catch another cramp again. That's one promise I will never make.
Mm-hmm.
I catch a cramp about every third day. Anytime I move a little bit, I end up.
Well, it's funny because so many players, like there's so many things that they promise and never happens. Like there'll be players that's like, I promise I'll never fumble again. No, you probably are. Like you are. It's going to happen.
One thing about Jaquindon Jackson, he's going to be very good. A lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He's going to catch a cramp and he's going to fumble.
Yep.
Those are the 2 things. We found his 2 weaknesses.
That's right. Addison says, is there a fine line? Is there just a fine line for players and pressers? I hate when they coach speak you to death also, but I can't see a happy medium either. I mean, it's not really a fine line. It's just more of, honestly, I look at it as, maybe this is the bad way to look at it, but I'm kind of just thankful because there's a lot of schools that do not even allow players to speak during the week. So it's like, at least you get a little something. It may not be much, but there's always a chance that they go a little rogue, maybe say something they shouldn't, maybe, make a joke that's funny. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, would we like them to just really give us the down and dirty? Sure. But that's not what's going to happen. I'm just thankful we get them.
I'm an advocate for less media training for the team, because the media training is why you get all of the like nonsense cliches, coach speak that doesn't make any sense. Like KJ Jefferson, love the guy. I really do like the guy, and I remember him fondly, but he was the worst interview in Arkansas sports history because he didn't have a ton of insightful stuff to say, and he was media trained. So everything he said was a cliche that meant nothing. And so it's like and he would go to the presser every single week, and we would get 0 usable quotes from him every single week. And I was just like, I almost wanted to pull Kyle aside and be like, bro, I know he's the quarterback and he's a senior captain, but it's like, this is a nothing. Like, nobody's getting anything out of this, including him. He hated going to it.
Yeah. Can we also, as I'll never forget it, why the Razorback football players wear the same polo shirts for every press conference? It's because of KJ Jefferson.
True.
Because I'll never forget. I think it was the first. I think it was 2021 or either 2022.
It was in fall camp, I believe. 2021.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah, and he comes in there with literally nothing but a wife beater on, and just I was like, everyone's like, yep. And that from that point on, they have polo shirts for every player.
That was crazy, man. He was texting on his phone in between questions and stuff. I was like, oh, man.
Dude, it was before the Ole Miss game when he was like the most checked out of a presser I've ever seen. And I was like worried, where I was like, dude, this dude, he does not care, man. He does not want to be here. But turned out he played the best game of his career after that. So there's no correlation between press conference performance and performance on the field.
Yeah, between that and then some of the outfits that Devo Davis would rock when he would come into the locker or to the press conference after games. It's like quite a difference there. But yeah, it was that's why, because I had somebody ask me, they're like, do they just like love those polo shirts? I'm like, no. In fact, I bet you they'd never wear them ever again. But
they hand them to them as they're walking in.
Yeah, like I guarantee you they do. It's just how it is. Alex says, glad to see you rested happy faces instead of and how upset we were at Eskimo Joe's. Thanks again for hanging out our table for a little bit. Did y'all keep y'all cups? Well, it was good meeting you, Alex. Appreciate you.
I did not keep my cup, and I intended to. I just got up and walked out. We got about halfway home, and in my mind, I was like, dang.
Forgot those cups. Yeah.
But I can't walk back into my house with a cup. My wife, anywhere we go, it doesn't matter. It could be like a paper cup from McDonald's. She's going to wash it and save it. So I can't be bringing cups into our house. So.
You can't add to the issue. You can't enable her.
Yeah.
I forgot my cup too. I also didn't take my Irish breakfast shot glass. That was gross.
That was something for 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh man, no. Well, it was funny because like I meant to keep the cup because I wasn't gonna. I actually used the cup to get Rowdy's food out of his bag. That's why I was gonna use it for. So, but I forgot mine too. So next time we're in Stillwater, we'll be sure to get those cups. Yeah. But we appreciate you. Let's see. This one comes from Jeremy. He's like, hey, John, did you watch the film on Okie State? As good as Talon played at times, he's not getting the ball out on time many times. He's hanging on the ball too long. I will say I agree with that as far as there were a few plays where he just needed to throw the ball away, and he didn't. And I know that that's something that they're probably working on or whatever, but I feel like there's times, he yelled onto the ball too long, which you're trying to make a play, and that's how those quarterbacks are kind of wired, because you feel like you can always just make a play. But sometimes say, hey, if it's 2nd and 7 or 2nd and 5, and there ain't nobody open, just toss it away. Nothing wrong with that. But
yeah, he took some bad sacks early and then late in that game that were pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like 3, which doesn't sound like a large amount, but in the grand scheme of it, like those 3 were pretty pivotal. But I will say, Curtis and I got some commenters that were really mad that we gave Talon A- and B+ for his performance the other day. If you look at Pro Football Focus, we actually didn't grade him positively enough. He is the 8th highest graded quarterback in the country, 91.0. So, yeah, I mean, I agree though. Like, he definitely needs to work on things, and he's not perfect. But like, we're going to continue to nitpick this dude all year long, and he's going to end up throwing for like 3,700 yards and running for 1,000. Like
when you throw 45 times in a game, there are going to be, throws that you wish you could have back. There are going to be decisions that he should have made better. And that's why we didn't give him an A+. He had 500 yards of freaking offense himself. So, I think 99% of the time that happens, you're probably going to give somebody an A+ type of grade. And we didn't, for the reasons that people were mad at us. But
frankly,
we'll be more harsh. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll be more harsh. That's perfectly fine. We'll give him a C- for throwing for 390 against UAB. But also, like, frankly, I'm just used to watching KJ, who was like notorious for holding onto the ball entirely too long. So in my brain, I'm like, this dude is getting it out immediately. Like, this dude's getting it out quick, which for the most part, Talon does get it out quick. So I think that was interesting that he had 3 mishaps on that. I don't expect that to be a recurring theme with him.
No,
I think he'll run immediately after taking the snap more often than he will take a sack that he shouldn't take, frankly.
Yeah, at least he should. Also, this comes from Eric. He says, seriously thought John and Andrew needed a hug. They look so down. Listen, I know I did. Andrew, were you down? Like, I felt like you
I was in tears, John. I was in tears, man.
Yeah, you're crying.
You guys just got to keep the shades on like I did.
Yeah, sorry I have beautiful
Wonder,
ocean eyes that y'all got lost in, and y'all were like, oh, this dude's crying. Like y'all just, you know what it was? That phone that we were filming on was the most HD 4K phone of all time. I was watching the videos back, and Hillary was like, dude, what camera did y'all use for this? And I'm like, dude, we used a phone. But it was HD as hell, bro. Like, you could see into our eyes, which is why I guess people were touching on it.
Yeah, I guess so. I just laughed because I've seen so many comments about people like, Andrew, man, he looked rough. And I'm like, he always looks rough then because I do look the same. He wasn't that down, but maybe some people thought that. Let's see. Casey Hook says, loving the content as usual. Are y'all ever consider doing call-in shows like John was doing on the previous show that y'all remain unnamed as in my own name. But yes, don't worry. Call-in shows. The call-in thing is going to be happening. In fact, we may do the whole trial run for the post game of UAB maybe before then. But here's the thing, and I'm going to be honest about this because this is just how I am now. I'm only going to do this phone line thing if y'all use it. All right? We ain't going to have this crap where all right, we got phone lines are open, and then everyone's like, I'd rather chat because I don't like the way my voice sounds or anything. Like, no. You got to call. You got to use it. So I need guarantees, at least 3 calls a day. And it can't be from the same people. So
and also, we need y'all to pull up at the post-game show because I know that this game might not be the most thrilling of all time, and it might be over by halftime, potentially, hopefully. But stick around. Make sure you pull up for the post-game show.
It'll work this time.
It'll work. We promise. You know how we know? Because we're doing it from the places we're sitting right now. So
we were so mad. Yeah. Honestly, the fact that we pulled off that half-hour post-game recording afterwards the way we did was pretty impressive because right before we hit go on that, given everything that was going on, all 3 of us were really pissed. We were really mad
because it was like everything was set. It was fine, like tested
the mics. Yeah.
But then as soon as the game ended, everyone from Timbuktu and Stillwater decided to gather around us and be like, oh, let's get on the Wi-Fi. And then it was a mess, but it worked out. Just, live and learn. And, we'll make it work. But no, we won't have that problem this week at all and shouldn't the next week or the next week or ever again. We promise not to fumble the ball. We promise not to have cramps again. We promise not to have a post-game stream that doesn't work.
We had the concepts of a plan.
Yep.
And,
we did. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Keep working that in. We got to work that in as many times as possible in this one. Who bear to plug? Sorry. Can we rank Oklahoma State's defense against the defenses we'll face in the SEC?
Might be the worst.
Might be.
I mean that. I don't know about Mississippi State's defense this year or whatever, but I mean, Auburn's got a better defense. A&M has a better defense. They're not very good against the run, but I don't know that they're as bad as Oklahoma State. Tennessee's defense is much improved. Texas got a good defense. Ole Miss improved on defense. Missouri has a good defense. I mean,
yeah,
it might be. They might be at the bottom.
Yeah, LSU's defense last year was like the shakiest one, and they're probably, if they're the closest, I would say, if you're looking at the SEC teams. But even LSU, I thought they were slightly improved. But I don't know, maybe that's the shakiest one. But yeah, they're definitely near the bottom of whatever Arkansas is going to face.
I mean, 650 yards. That's, I know Bobby Petrino's a great one for everything, but
yeah. Am I the only one that has a feeling like I don't think this is going to be a close game. Like I think Arkansas is going to cover and all that, but this just strikes me as the game where it's not as smooth offensively, and they might have a couple weird 3-and-outs, and then they only get 480 yards of offense or something, and then people are kind of like, oh, what's going on? But where that's actually really a pretty solid day at the office, comparatively speaking, because they're not going to get 600 yards on everybody, are they?
I don't know, maybe. You never know. Here's what I do think, Curtis. I think they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Because it seems like ULM, I think they ran the ball for like 240, 250. General Booty barely even had to throw the ball for ULM last week. So I feel like they're going to kind of establish that. And then, of course, they're going to be up. And so if you're running the ball, even if you're running the ball 8 yards a clip, you're not going to rack up 600 yards of offense. So I could definitely see like Talon being like 9 for 14 for 150 yards, but Arkansas having 500 yards of offense still mostly through the ground.
Well, and also I think it'd be funny, and hopefully that you won't know for Sam Pittman, but be like, hey, if you're expecting to play Braylon Russell, play Braylon Russell. Don't do this stuff like, hey, he's supposed to play, but I don't know what happened. We tried to find him, but he was missing. He went to the bathroom. Like,
that's my biggest pet peeve. It's like, oh yeah, we had it, or we met before the game with the coaching staff, and we were going to get him in there, but you didn't.
Yeah. It's almost like you look at the clock back. Oh shucks, we ran out of time.
Which again, that's another one where it's like, quit telling the truth. Like, just lie and be like, you know what, Braylon Russell was drunk last night. That's why he didn't play. Like, just come up with a reason and just be like, hey, we didn't play him because we didn't want to play him. Like, just stand on that, which he did with Dwight McGlothern when he shouldn't have said that. Like, it's very weird where he draws the line.
Let's see. Jeff's been asking this a few times. He says, hey guys, any updates on the kicker situation?
We're media's kicked out of practices. Like, we haven't been able to see him kick at all, but it's open competition now.
Yeah. There's an or.
Yeah, there's an or back on the depth chart. And this is just gut feel, I guess. I think Shipley's going to be out there on Saturday. At the very least, he's going to get some opportunities. Why not? Like, if you've seen Ramsey at this point in a road environment or whatever, and it didn't go well, that doesn't mean you have to completely bail on him, but you at least got to give the other guy a look. And how fair would it be? It wasn't fair to Ramsey last week. I mean, he can't help it that his offense scored every drive against UAPB, but for his first opportunity to come on the road at Oklahoma State, well, how fair would it be for Shipley if you don't give him an opportunity now, but then all of a sudden he gets thrown into the fire at Auburn? So like, if you get some opportunities to kick field goals, at least let him get out there and get one under his belt, in my opinion.
Well, and frankly, it never really made a ton of sense. Now, again, like, we're not watching these guys kick every day. I'm not trying to like say I need to be the one in charge of these decisions, anything like that. But they bring in Shipley, who on paper was a good transfer kicker. He was 14 of 18 last year, started multiple years.
Luke Rose, a semifinalist.
Right. He sucks in the spring. So you bring in a guy to compete with him. And then all we heard all fall camp was, hey, Shipley's gotten a lot better. He's making his field goals. He made a 52-yarder with the game on the line in the scrimmage, and Ramsey was hurt. So I don't know what happened between fall camp and the opener to where Ramsey overtook him, because the last scrimmage that they had, Ramsey went 0 for 4 and Shipley went 4 for 5.
In the two combined, Shipley was 6 for 8 and Ramsey was 2 for 6.
Right. And like, all we heard was like, Shipley, we challenged him and he rose to the occasion. And then we just haven't seen him. So I'm frankly wondering if something weird happened. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe when Eli Stein quit, maybe Matthew Shipley was like, you know what? I hate this team too. Or like, I don't know what happened, but I would, I don't know if we're ever going to get the story. Maybe there'll be a 30 for 30 on the Arkansas kicking situation, but it never made sense to us why Shipley wasn't the guy to begin with. And that's not just revisionist history. You can go back and listen to the shows. We've been a good bit leading up to the season.
Well, I was gonna say, maybe it's the problem. He's like, my chemistry's all messed up. Eli Stein was my short snapper. The chemistry's off. Just the timing. I can't get it right. Maybe that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I also like this from Zach. He says, it's pretty funny hearing John be so upset and Curtis bringing him back up. Usually John is too high and Curtis has to bring him down.
It was very, very apparent to me, like 90 seconds into that, I was like, oh, somebody's got to be that guy in this show. I felt like it needed to be me. So you're right. That thought went through my mind and I was like, I got to bring this guy up a little bit. This is tough.
Yep.
And I feel like an idiot doing it, by the way. I just want everybody to know when I was there, like, listen, I get it. It's tough, another 1-score loss. But if you're looking for a silver lining here, if your glass is still half full, I'm not that guy. I don't do that. But I had to, man.
We forced him. We forced his hand.
We're a team here. Okay, well-rounded operation.
That's right. It's
Plus, he saw me crying, and he was like, "I got to do something, man."
Like, Andrew's just over there with the waterworks coming out of his eyes, just like boo-hooing, and we're like, "Come on, man!" Like it's like just so funny how people are like. Again, it's not to say that obviously I was upset, but then just hearing the people that like add on to the exaggeration to be like, it's like hey, Andrew looked like, because there's so many people that. It wouldn't be one thing if somebody was just like, "Oh, Andrew was like crying," but no, like, man, people are like, he had tears in his eyes. He was doing this. I was like, "Jeez, man!"
I can't stormed off the set.
Yeah, they thought we really genuinely wouldn't let John do our pot of the nature things after the game. But
that was the best thing.
I'm not above crying over sporting events. I've cried over several in my life, but it's been a while. And it's been a while since the Arkansas Razorbacks have made me cry. I don't think they can. I didn't cry during any of the Chad Morris years. So I think at that point I became numb.
Yeah.
My favorite comment of the weekend was the guy that chimed in and was like, "This the irony of these guys doing an accountability session and John not showing up." It clearly didn't know what we were doing or why we were doing it, but that was awesome.
Again, people that don't watch videos, that don't watch and didn't watch Friday when we did the predictions, and then Saturday when we were holding ourselves accountable, that just comment and they're like, "I'm going to insert my opinion despite having zero context or knowledge of the situation."
That's our favorite thing ever. Yeah.
Love it.
That's our favorite thing in the comments. It makes it so much fun.
And I can say this because I know that he's not going to watch this, whoever it is. Like, they don't actually watch the videos,
Yeah.
Our friends are the ones that watch the videos. Our friends that are in the chat every day.
That's right. Those are the ones. The everydayers, as we call them. They're the ones that are there. I like the little optimism coming in here from Jonathan. He's like, honestly, this team can still win 9 games. Armstrong, Green, Has, Jackson, Broden, Stania, Washington. Not really a better lineup. Let's move on from last week and handle business this week. So got some little Kool-Aid being drunk there. All right. 9 games, buddy. Going 9-1 the rest of the way.
9's a little much for me, but hey.
No. That's a 10. That's a 10-win team. No.
But you got to have it is, no matter how you feel about the program in general or Sam Pittman or whatever, you can't jump completely off the ship after 2 weeks. There's too much football left to be played to do that to yourselves, So get the win over UAB and get excited again. Honestly, I thought some of these folks were crazy with how much they were dismissing Oklahoma State after, one game against UAPB. I missed that. Like, come back. Hell yeah, Hogs by 90 over Auburn. Like, let's get back to that, man.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, look, you can talk me into a lot of things. I just feel like we're going to be looking back and being like, whatever Arkansas's record is, we're going to look back at the Oklahoma State game and be like, damn, that was it. Because even if Arkansas goes 6-6, like they finished this year 6-6, you'll look back at that Oklahoma State game and be like, they could have won 9. If you win that one, maybe it's, you start doing that. But
we'll be sitting with John at the Liberty Bowl going, if they would just beat Oklahoma State, we'd be somewhere else right now.
We'd be in NOLA.
Nope. You're gonna have a cutout. You're gonna have a cutout board of me there because I am not going to that stupid Liberty Bowl. I'm not doing it. But it's almost like you
go to the Southland,
dude. I'll go. Listen, I will go to Birmingham for that bowl game over Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. I'll do it. I don't even care. I'm sick of that bowl game. I'm sick of the teams. I'm sick of the bathrooms not working. Sick of everyone being like, "I'll go to Central Barbecue," and it's the most overrated thing. Like, it's just gone. I hate that place. All right. Oh, I want to bring this up too, guys. Like, 2 weeks in.
That's just strange, bro. That's crazy.
Gosh. I thought Rendezvous was the overrated barbecue down there.
I was gonna say, I thought Rendezvous was kind of overrated, but
well, it's probably one or the other. I don't know. I can't remember. I went to one of them. I did go to Rendezvous, and I'm pretty sure I went to Central. And one of them, I was just like, great. I just waited in line for this, and it wasn't even that great.
Listen, if you want to spend $38 on a plate that's not that great, go to Rendezvous.
Okay. I may have been one I'm thinking of. So sorry. My apologies. Central.
They do have a Voodoo
Central's
brew.
The one that's in but Central is a Memphis one, and it's the one that's like over there by Fayetteville Taco and Tamale and all that.
Okay. Yeah. I still haven't been to that one either. Anyways, well, if I go back, maybe I'll give it another shot. But I'm not. Not for that, at least. Not doing it.
Not going back to Memphis.
Not going back to Memphis. Wanted to bring this up to Like right here, these are the leaders in the SEC for passing, rushing, and receiving. I know it's 2 weeks in. But Taylon Green, second in passing yards, 645 yards behind Jackson Dart, who has 795, which is absurd. Rushing leaders, though, Jaquin Jackson just a little behind Dylan Sampson of Tennessee, who's got 256, but Jaquin's got 250. And then Andrew Armstrong is seventh right now, which it's kind of crazy because he only played one game. So that's his one game total for him in this one. So, yeah, 164 yards. Trey Harris leading the way and not even close with 309. But either way, just to give everybody an idea of where these guys offensively are ranking in the SEC. Listen, you got the number 2 running back and quarterback passing wise in the SEC through 2 games. You got to at least take some solace in that, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
They're
fun to watch, man. I'll give them that. Even despite the mistakes or whatever, and kind of peeing down their leg against Oklahoma State, they're fun to watch. The offense is it's dynamic. Petrino's dialing up some cool stuff, and they got some really good skill position players. I have enjoyed watching this team. I even enjoyed watching them in that loss on Saturday, and just frankly, from start to finish, even in those close games they played last year, where they almost came back and beat Bama and played well at LSU. Like, they just really weren't that fun of a team to watch. So I've enjoyed it from an aesthetic standpoint so far.
100%. So if my math is correct, Andrew Armstrong leading the SEC in yards per game receiving.
Yeah.
Also, Taylon, there's only one quarterback, I believe, above him. That Pavia guy is Vanderbilt's quarterback, who's freaking awesome, by the way. But yeah, so Taylon's got a legit chance to lead the SEC in quarterback rushing. Taylon Green's got more rushing yards than Raheem Sanders. How about that?
I was going to bring that up. I was like, man, someone said that before the year started. Stop the count. Stop the count.
Arkansas, this just inspired me. Arkansas should use this UAB game to pad every single stat possible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Have Taylon throw for 500 yards and run for 200. Run Jaquin and Jackson 26 times. Etch their names in history.
Just have Andrew Armstrong just run verts every play and throw it up to him. Just, do that. That'd be nice.
Seeing Rocket Sanders there reminds me it's a completely different SEC game, but if LSU doesn't win at South Carolina this weekend, their season is fried. Arkansas will blow them out in Fayetteville. Yeah, I said it. If that happens, I feel like it's going to go off the rails if they're not able to get that done. It's that big of a game for them.
Man.
I think you're right. Also, it's crazy that game day is there. I mean, I know that it's not a great slate week 3.
You got Alabama at Wisconsin. And
you also, frankly, Missouri, Boston College, you know what I mean? I think that's more of a legitimate game.
Top 25 matchup, neither of those teams are ranked. Yeah.
But I do think South Carolina fans are going to get up for that one. I mean, they're technically, did y'all know South Carolina is technically 2-0?
Technically.
They are.
Yeah, how about that? Coming off of a big road win. And so, we'll see what that atmosphere is going to be jumping. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, though, and he's also in law school or about to be, getting his law degree. And he basically sifted through the Brian Kelly contract, and he was like, there's no way they can fire him this year.
Oh, really?
He thinks it would even be hard to fire him next year. Now, he broke it down for me in numbers that I am too dumb to remember, but he was like, there's just no way out of this Brian Kelly ordeal. So they're kind of toast. So to your point, Curtis, I don't know what it looks like in Baton Rouge if he does lose that South Carolina game and then gets his ass whooped by Arkansas, and it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna get weird,
man. I wonder if that has. Are they still paying Ed Orgeron? Right, probably.
I would imagine
pay him all at once. I don't know how they did that.
If they're not still paying him, it means they gave him a fat lump sum of something crazy, which I think they did.
This is a huge week for the. Can Arkansas still get to a bowl game or whatever situation in the SEC because of that LSU South Carolina game could change a lot of narratives. If they go there and they beat South Carolina on the road by 2 scores, you're going, oh boy, they're talented. Maybe they're starting to figure some things out. Same thing with A&M and Florida. Florida's a mess. A&M hasn't looked that great. If they lose that game, then it's oh man, this just might really not be a good year one for Elko. But if they go there and they punk Florida and, they've kind of bounced back 2 straight weeks, you go, well, okay, Wegmans figured it out. Maybe they're going to be pretty good. So it's an important week in the SEC this early, especially as it pertains to Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be huge. And the fact that College Game Day is going to the LSU South Carolina game.
Everybody's going there. I was listening to our boy Josh Pate this morning. He's going there. He canceled his tickets he had a flight and hotel and everything booked for the Wisconsin Bama game, canceled it to go to this South Carolina LSU thing. I don't know why you would.
Why?
I wouldn't have, but I don't know.
That's what because it's just funny as how Arkansas fans are, because like every time that Arkansas has felt like they've had a chance at getting, I'm not saying game day this week for UAB, I'm not, but I'm just saying it's funny how timing's everything, because there's been games that Arkansas's had at home in Fayetteville. They're like, oh man, game day could come, but then they go to like an FCS team or just happens to be like the number 1, number 2 team playing each other that week.
Yeah.
But then there's like games like this where it's like, nobody else, I guess we'll just go over here to South Carolina and LSU.
They should have just moved. And Sam, by the way, did y'all see? Remember, Sam kind of advocated for this. They should have just moved Arkansas, Oklahoma State to week 3.
Yeah.
Sam was like, I really wish we would have played like another game between.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yep, they should have. And then that way it would have, but then it would have been, I guess it would have been the same amount. No, actually, it would. How many games in a row would they be away from Fayetteville? Would that be 3?
Well, they would have played in Fayetteville, hypothetically. They would have played UAB week 2.
Right, but like straight weeks though, being away from Fayetteville.
Then yeah, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you'd go a month between games in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that'd be a lot. That'd be a lot to deal with.
Par for the course with this program.
Seriously, that's how it happens. I don't know. I just, when I looked at that graphic about the leaders and all that stuff though too, it's just it's nice to see again some Razorbacks being on there, but also like is any of these like, if you're going to bet on one of these players to stay at the spot that they're at, like would Jackson Dart, are you guys like feeling like he's definitely going to finish the season number 1? Yeah.
Dude, he's only thrown like 5 incomplete passes. That offense,
crazy,
I think
man.
him and Trey Harris are probably going to stay in those spots, dude. That offense is a freaking wagon. And I'd imagine Henry Parrish is going to probably finish he's going to stay in that top 2 to 3.
Just to think that like they could have had Quinshon Judkins still there. Like he could still have been there. But he transferred out, and they're still just having no problems picking up right where he left off. So
Pretty good.
yeah, not bad. We'll get into some comments here in a bit, but I do want to bring up, of course, a little of the action that we have some fun with the What's More Likely segment that we didn't do. Or I always think about ones, or I bring up ones that's not on the day that we're actually supposed to be bringing them up, or I'm supposed to be bringing them up. And then this time around, I feel like I'm a little bit more ready and prepared, because I don't know if these are going to be any good, but I'm going to roll with it. So you guys saw the graphic that we posted. So here's your first one of what's more likely to happen. Taylon Green to get to 3,000 yards passing first, or get Jaquindon Jackson to get to 1,400 yards rushing first.
Should
have just been like, what's more likely for the first to happen?
Green.
I think Green too. Simply because Jaquindon Jackson, like 1,400 yards, that's a good, like if he gets there for the full season.
It took Rocket the whole year to get there.
Yeah, I was like, dude, he's going to have to rattle off some like big, I mean, he's rattled off 2 huge games already, but like he's going to have like some monster games to get there for the full season. And I think Taylon will get there. Like I'm pretty confident he'll finish
He'll be
around
over 1,000 by Sunday. So
yeah, I mean, he's only, what is he, like, 2,400 away? I mean, yeah.
Well, I guess the concerning thing that I have for Taylon, I guess, is that when you're going up against some of these SEC teams and he's going to have some games where they just can't throw the ball.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's done that a lot in his career, where he'll have some good games, then you'll randomly see, kind of like Andrew was saying, but yeah, he'll have like a 9 for 16 for 131 yards, and you're like, oh, what happened there?
Yeah,
I just think ultimately, like with Taylon, I think they're going to be like in that Ole Miss and those Texas games, he's going to throw 40 passes in both of those games. You know what I mean? Like even when Arkansas is losing and struggling to move the ball, he'll throw enough to where like I think he's going to still, even in those games, throw for like 225, 240, and he'll also have some games like this weekend where I'll probably be able to throw for 300 pretty easy.
Yeah, I guess also too, it's like I could see again. I think Jaquindon Jackson is more likely he's going to have a big rushing yardage game against UAB than what Taylon's probably going to throw for 400 yards. Like maybe I'm wrong, but it just, then it could go back and forth. But if either of them get to that feat or both of them do, it's pretty good. I think it'd be pretty good.
I mean, 1,400 yards, that would turn into like a top 4 or 5 rushing season in school history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cause I think McFadden has like 2 of the top 2. And
he's got like 1830 and 1670, or I think his top 2, and then Collins had around 1,500, 1,600, and Rocket I think was the 4th best besides that.
Yeah. Okay, so what's more likely, Arkansas to score less than 30 or to give up more than 30 against UAB?
Jeez. I would say less than. I mean, they scored 6 on Louisiana Monroe. I would say scoring less than 30. Just a situation where like maybe Green makes a couple mistakes or they're fumbling it again or whatever. So like you're giving up possessions. I would be really surprised if they give up 30 to this UAB team.
Yeah, I'd be
think
very
that's where I'm
concerned.
going. Yeah.
And also, like I was saying earlier, I think there's a chance Arkansas just runs the ball a good bit to where they run for 240 and they just kind of ball control
the clock.
And it looks similar to that Kent State game last year, which I don't want to really relive that because that sucked. But I do think like 28-3 is like in play, given how bad UAB's offense appears to be. So yeah, I'm with you, Curtis. If Arkansas gave up 31 to UAB,
man.
I would be really, really concerned.
Yeah, I think everybody would be concerned if either of these things happened.
True.
Yeah,
true. That's correct.
So let's just hope that neither of them are true. This one's kind of I'll go with the non-Arkansas related ones, more like an SEC thing. But it's like, what's more likely to happen? A team in the SEC not named Georgia or Texas to win the national title in college football this year, or no SEC team to win the college football NCAA tournament or College World Series this school year.
All right, hold on. Let me really think about
I know. I am not. I'm not good at words. Y'all are the big J journalists.
More likely that someone not named Georgia or Texas wins the college football title, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Like, I do actually kind of think there's a path to someone not named Georgia or Texas winning. I don't think it's super likely, but I think there's 3 or 4 like legitimate candidates. Whereas, like, if no SEC team were to win all 3, like, I just don't see that happening. I mean, Arkansas is going to win basketball and baseball, so like right off the bat, that's probably eliminating it.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was like basketball, of course, like is the most likely that an SEC team does not win it just because of
probably so.
Thing. But the College World Series, if an SEC team does not win it, then someone's like, what happened? Like where did it go wrong? Did someone drop a foul ball against Oregon State again? You know, like that.
A lot of NIL checks that people would be having buyer's remorse on because the SEC baseball spent like a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. All right.
Basketball too, frankly.
Yeah, this one's a little bit. This one's Arkansas related, but a little football and basketball flavor. What's more likely, Arkansas to have a first-round NFL draft pick this year, or not to have an NBA draft pick whatsoever next year?
Well, they're going to have a NBA draft pick for sure, so I'd say it'd be more likely. To have a first round NFL draft pick. Yeah. Although Landon Jackson's got to pick it up. Would he be, I mean, first round though?
I think Taylon Green is probably the best chance at a first round pick. Like, let's just be real. Simply because quarterbacks, and again, everyone's going to say, yeah, but his footwork and his blah, blah. Guys, teams draft bad quarterbacks first round every single year. I think Taylon is your best chance. I don't think it's happening. But I think that's like kind of in play, but what would have to happen for Arkansas to not have an NBA draft pick? That would mean that Carter Knox is just a bust. Him and Fland are just like not really, guys. John L. Davis would have to like really. Although I don't know, I could see him not getting drafted technically. Like seniors, like older guys, I feel like get disrespected draft time sometimes.
Hierro would have to be a bust. Brazil would have to be the whole team.
There's a lot of variables that would like you could kind of talk me into John L. Davis not getting drafted. You could talk me into Brazil not getting drafted or Knox not, but you can't talk me into all of them not being drafted.
Yeah, this was my long shot. Like there's just no way that these things happen. But
I do. So I saying all that, by the way, I do think Taylon Green being drafted is more likely in the first round is more likely than that happening. Frankly.
That would be, that'd be crazy to think. Because if Luke was draft eligible, I think most people would probably go with him, maybe, I guess. Or, I don't really know who else would even be
Landon
in the
Jackson. I don't think Landon Jackson is on pace to be drafted.
You said Landon Jackson or who?
Like Landon Jackson first round. Like I was saying, he would be the guy that, like, he's on that list if you're talking about it. But don't think he's going to happen.
No Jaquindon Jackson, because running backs are getting drafted in the first round all the time. and it works really well for him usually. So yeah, I'm sure that would happen. But yeah, that's the what's more likely thing. And I had another one too, and I had it typed up, and it's not in there anymore. I don't know what happened to it, and I can't remember what it was. So yeah, if anybody in the chat has one that they can make up for my mistake and bring us one, then yeah, hit us with it, because I don't know why. I use Google Docs, and sometimes it doesn't save. So but that's that on that. A few more chats I wanted to get into. There was another one that Lucas over here saying we're doomed against green teams in Fayetteville. Talking about UAB. Like the one? Like North Texas? The one? That I don't know what that means.
Counts, it happened.
Yeah.
It did happen.
Guess so. Wasn't the team they beat last year a green team? I'm trying to remember who they played late in the year.
No, they played FIU, and they were like a blue and gold.
Okay. So, well, sorry, that's no, I got that wrong. Thought there was a green. It doesn't matter, but yeah, I don't think it has anything to green teams. I think it just has to be with like Chad Morris was terrible that year. Let's see. Jay's over here. He's pissed. He's like, "You're 5 and Sam can't even get a kicker. What a freaking joke!" All right.
I like that. That's like a thing. Like you got to have your kicker by year 5.
Yep. It's like, well, they had a kicker the entire time he was here that was really good, and he left.
Right. As I was like, it's not like it's been a recurring issue.
Even his kickers who didn't kick are thriving in the NFL. So
literally. No. I mean, I think it's weird that Arkansas has a bad kicking situation because we thought they had it figured out, but I think this is a funny bit here. Like, still can't get a kicker, huh?
It's like, and also too, it's like, if I halfway expect this to be a Scott Fountain thing, just like, you got to fire him, can't find a kicker, can't recruit.
Right.
Like, no, it's not. Yeah, because he's over here is like, Sam Pittman has me contemplating or makes me contemplate being an LSU fan.
It ain't that serious.
Yeah, I'm about to say
that's a wild one.
Yeah.
You should never contemplate that.
Yeah, I think he's just he's someone pissed in his Wheaties this morning. He's just fired up at the world. Kim Muckleroy says, who's the better quarterback, Taylon Green or KJ?
Right now? Okay, right now, Taylon Green.
Yeah.
I feel like prime KJ was really good though, but I feel like he's washed up at this point.
KJ graded higher than Taylon Green last week. Somehow. I don't know what KJ did, but that's
well,
true.
they played somebody, like they played a no-name school again.
That's all they do over there, apparently. Just play a bunch of no-name schools. Yeah. So it's just funny how the comparisons are, but I feel like it's going to be just an every year thing now, where if you replace your quarterback or running back or they transfer out somewhere else and then you have new ones, they're going to be like constantly comparing back. Okay, well, as long as you upgraded, as long as you got a better quarterback out of the situation, or better running back out of the situation, which I'm going to be honest, right now, I think Arkansas got the better of the deal with Taylon Green and Jaquindon Jackson over KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. Just saying. I'll bring this one up. It says, what's more likely, Bobby or Odom being the next head coach? Odom. Barry Odom.
Yeah, Odom, I would say over. But I really, it's going to take someone convincing me that Bobby wants to be a head coach again.
Yeah, I'm not buying it at all until there. Also, no, I wasn't going to bring that up. I'll bring it up later. There's another one too that I keep starring ones and then they get out of control and out of order here, and I have to go back and look through it all just to see. But I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Anyways.
By the way, I pulled it up just because I was kind of curious. I pulled up a list that has every first round quarterback since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
I now am like very confident that Taylon Green is going to warrant consideration for first round draft pick. There are some stinkers in here, dude. Paxton Lynch got drafted in the first round.
Curtis,
Jake Locker,
stop him.
Christian Ponder.
I don't know what the hell has happened here, but like Andrew I don't know if he like ran into Taylon Green at the supermarket or something and he recognized him, or like I don't know what's going on, but this bit is interesting. I didn't see this coming where he's fully committed to him being the best quarterback
that get drafted in the first round every year. There's a lot of really bad ones. Like Taylon
Green's not going to be one of them.
No, he's not going to be one of them. But it's more likely than Arkansas not having any draftable players on their roster in basketball.
Yeah, I said that much, but you've been on this all week.
I'm just saying that, like, you got to look like it's not even Talon doesn't have to be good at football to get drafted in the first round because teams draft quarterbacks like nobody's business, dude. There's like Trey Lance got drafted despite like only starting half a year at an FCS school. So it's like one of those things where if you look a certain way, quarterbacks like the list of the guys that have been drafted first round, there's a lot of them that are extremely unproven in college that go on to suck in the NFL, but it's like
you're putting unfair pressure on Talon Green from this fan base.
I think everyone is misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying, hey, Talon Green's about to have an awesome year and work his way into being. I'm saying the draft is a tools-based game, and bad quarterbacks get drafted every year. And Talon wouldn't be the worst one that got drafted in the first round. There's been some stinkers.
It would be funny though, because if playing this game, if he did get drafted in the first round, for all the quarterbacks, he's the one that gets drafted in the first round, the first Razorback quarterback to ever be taken in the first round.
Again, everyone views it like it's a meritocracy where they're like, well, Tyler Wilson was really good in college. Why didn't he go first round? It's because he's not an athletic guy. Like he's not 6'6", 220. And because Talon Green goes to the combine and runs a 4.4. And all of a sudden he's throwing the ball in shorts. And it's going to be one of those things like Bo Nix literally just got drafted in the first round like 6 months ago. Like it's not as hard to get drafted in the first round as a quarterback as people seem to think.
Well, we need to have Curtis say he's going to do a certain something if that happens, so we can hold him to it. So to make a deal.
Andrew should be the one doing something when it doesn't happen. I'm not over here driving this Heisman campaign, so
Okay, the Heisman and the NFL draft are just two very separate things. It's like I think this is a reading comprehension thing. Where you think I'm like saying, hey, Talon Green's about to like light up the SEC. Like, no, I think he could. Anthony Richardson completed like 52% of his passes at Florida and got drafted like 5th overall.
Yeah. Well, and also there's like, I will say there has been some really bad quarterbacks drafted, mainly by the Jets. So it would be pretty awful there. I did want to get into some other things too, because I know we just got about 10 or so minutes to wrap up here. People are already talking about disaster hires for the next head coach. All right, relax. But this was did y'all see this from Florida State? Because people are pissed about Florida State and they're 0-2 and fans are. This isn't a practice, and this is a video that came out. It's a really short one, so I may have to play a couple times for you to really see it. But just look in the background of this particular video. See that? See that again?
I forgot about this.
See it?
This is what Musk got accused of ruining Nick Smith's career. So
squirting water guns at a player as he's running away in practice. That was a coach that did that.
That's a tough look. That's a really tough look.
Like, it's just one of those things that goes back where if you're winning, everyone's great.
That's brutal.
But then when you're doing imagine if this was Arkansas and like it came out that one of the coaches like Darren Wilson or whatever was chasing Nico Slaughter with a water gun out in practice. Like just the perception of it. But again, if you're winning and things are going really well, then no one really cares about it. But I saw that video. I'm like, jeez, man. Like read the room.
If they were 2-0 and that clip happened, people would be like, this team's loose, relaxed. They're having fun out there. The culture is good with old boy, with Mike Norvell. But that you can't do that. When you're 0-2, you cannot have that video out there on the internet.
No. I still want to know like how, I don't know. Because here at Arkansas, since practices are closed during this point in time, it's usually just like whatever the U of A or whatever puts out, or Hogs Plus. But it's
congratulations to them for whatever award they got.
They got an award?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Wait, who Hogs Plus?
Yeah.
Like an Oscar? Like a
something. Whatever their version of an Oscar is.
Oh, well, I didn't even see that too. But something like that. Like I could see it coming from them, but not from the actual. I just want to know who actually filmed that and why it got put out there. That would be my biggest question. So, anyways, that is a rough look. Also, another story too. A few of them of just random note of here. Did you guys see that a Purdue University student won a car in his halftime competition because he had to kick 3 field goals in 30 seconds to win a 2-year lease on a car? He did. After the game, the auto dealership got their insurance company on the line, and they called it to deny the kid his reward. and said that he didn't kick the field goal in time. So they're trying to take away the vehicle from him, even though he did it. But they're like, no, he did that last second. He didn't totally get it, because get this, says he finished, according to them, 0.07 seconds past the timer, according to them. And so they're denying him his vehicle. That's a rough look. Like, I've seen this happen before. Why do you guys give out or have these awards and then just be like, nope, we're not going to do that? It's like, you really think that wasn't going to happen? Come on now. But that's fun fact. It happened at a Razorback basketball game. Someone hit a half court shot. They tried to deny the kid the thing. Frank Broyles went out on the court and said, nope, you're giving it to him. And they did. That's what needs to happen here. So, and also shout out to Taylor Green, tool saving the Jets from Andrew Hawthorne. Thank you for that.
The Jets do need a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, they, at least after week one, they do. After week one, they do. Kingsley's over here. Is the kid transfer eligible? Sam will find him a car. It's true. It's true.
That's pretty good.
They'll find him a car. A few other comments here before we wrap up. Zach says, can we get John's best in Creed impression? No. If you want that, you can watch the karaoke video I did at SEC Media Days when I did that.
What Creed song did you sing?
Higher. Like, you got to sing a song that people know, because there's nothing more awkward than being at a karaoke thing and then someone's like sings a song that no one knows and never heard of. And it's like, all right, that's cool. So did Higher.
Number one goal of karaoke is getting people to sing along. I feel like
yes, that's the number one thing.
I shouldn't be telling you. I'm preaching to the choir. You're the karaoke expert.
Yeah, which is just weird because I only do it twice a year. But still, it was. I will say about the concert before we go, it was a good concert. Like, I know people give this thing about Creed, but they put on a show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. They played their hits, and that's what I care about. The preachiness got a little weird, but Scott Stapp, and it's how it works. No calling of the Hogs. It's the first concert I've ever been to Arkansas where the Hogs did not get called. So, which is unfortunate. And but yeah, it was a good concert. And Stripiest Wig, no, I don't know why you say you're chat banned. Like, what's the problem here? Oh, he says, oh no, it's just broken. Okay.
I think you're supposed to pay to be able to comment. That's so right. try paying and then it'll work.
Yeah, money should go right through there. So, all right, guys. Well, anything else to add in?
Yes.
Make known. Okay,
John, I just want to make you take a look at this young man real quick. I just want to get your in the moment reaction.
Okay. Oh, what's wrong with his face?
That's a 19-year-old child.
His ears are like, what happened? Is it like? Is this a fighter?
Chiweewees.
That's the Chiweewees kid. He's the youngest fighter to win a contract in UFC history, and he's fighting on Mexican Independence Day this weekend in the Sphere. It'd be a big deal. He's a fun little prospect.
Is that how he talks? The way like Curtis just did? Is that how he talks?
Yes, he has this little catchphrase, Chiweewees, and his voice. It's just every interview he does is electric. You can't understand a word he says, dude. Yeah, it's funny. He looked like, if you saw this, you can kind of tell he's younger in this one because he's I don't know, but like you just wouldn't guess that he's like 18, 19.
No. And listen, I'm not one to try to judge anybody on their appearance or anything like that at all. But I'm just saying, like, do you guys ever see the Goonies with Sloth?
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of a resemblance there. I think it's the ears. It's just like they're cauliflower ears, man, are rough. But anyways, should I root for this man or kid?
He's not. He's minus 950. He's a massive favorite. So he's apparently supposed to just smash this dude he's fighting. But yeah, I don't think that fight starts. He's the first fight of the night, and I think we're probably going to be like doing our post game show when it happens. But yeah, you should definitely be rooting for this kid's success.
Good. Well, I'm rooting for Chiweewees to fight on and get it done. So it should be a great matchup. Yeah, who knows? And then hey, the catfish whole thing's tonight. Maybe Sam Penn will say something interesting there. So
if it is, we'll have to count on Hogs Plus to deliver it to the masses.
Yeah, great. Well, hey, that does it for us. But appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Inside Arkansas. You can also check out our website, InsideArkansas.com, where we're putting out all great content each and every day. And as a reminder, too, tomorrow night, we're going to be doing, the video game live stream simulation of Arkansas and UAB. because the last week was way too on the nose, and we got to do it again to get some accurate representation. So anyways, appreciate all of you. For Andrew Ellis and Curtis Wilkerson, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you.